We are live. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, our noble judges, LVE tribe, as well as everyone listening. On this rather precious, cloudy, fresh day of Shabbat, we're still in summer, the very last days thereof, because it's ending. From California, the US of A. Today is Shabbat of the 30th, the last day of Av. We'll see the moon tonight, I'll remind you, as I always do, of the year 5992, since all this began from creation. This is September 16th of the year 2023 in the Gregorian calendar, and we shall study yet another chapter of Revelation 17, a prophecy that is so passionate, my most preferred prophecy, part 48. I am enjoying it full blast, and here is the mind which hath wisdom, part 5. And we are getting to the nucleus thereof, who are the 7 kings. And today we shall develop precisely and unravel that knot that no one understands. Without any further ado, let us seek our Elohim. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks for this so precious day of Shabbat. We give you thanks for this precious cloudy day. We give you thanks because you opened the scriptures that we may comprehend and understand what time we're living in. We only have to wait. We are only desirous of living and be partakers of this astonishing end. We all this thank you for in your precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth. Alleluia. Yahweh has blessed with one more year of life the following members of the Eternal Truth: Darío Naspiram, Colombia; David Emiliano Guerrero Ramos, Mexico; Raquel de Calderón, the Dominican Republic; Elizabeth Filio Miranda, Mexico; Rodolfo Pérez, Chile; Arturo Hernández Marín, Mexico; Andrés Barrios, Argentina; Julio Aguilar, Chile; Nelsie Amanda Hernandez, the US of A; Silvia del Carmen Miranda Aguilera, El Salvador; Shadiel Alexander Cordero Castillo, the Dominican Republic; Petronila Nova Honor, England; Matias Gabriel, Argentina. For each and every one of you, a great big hug, many blessings, many congratulations, and may it be your very last birthday under the government of Babylon. May the following birthday be under a new world order that's eternal. That is our wish. Very well. Today the moon shall be seen. Today is the very last day of the month of Av, the 5th month. The moon shall be seen, so then be all attentive on the 30th day. It's not necessary to see it, but it's the easiest day to see it precisely, so then I invite everyone, all those who belong the Eternal Truth, to go out and look for the moon when the sun is going down, and share your pictures if you are able to and you have the means to, and everything is fine, of sharing your pictures. So then today, at night, when the sun goes down, does the month of Elul begin, the 6th month. The month of preparation for the 7th month, which are the feasts, the special feasts that we are waiting for, from Etanim. All the rest of the Jewish people today is Rosh Hashanah, or the head of the year, or the new year. They've already entered into it because obviously they do not respect the moon or the times, or when you have to add the 13th month, they do it with an algorithm already calculated, so then they have not added a month, a 13th month. That is, there wasn't Adar 2nd for them, so then they are ahead 1 month. This year they will add it, we won't, and again, we'll be back to in synchronism, but that'll be at the end of this year, Elohim's year, and we also, but in the beginning, in the meantime, they've entered into the 7th month and they're already celebrating the new year. So then to all those that are listening to us, that respect that calendar, we give you our most honest congratulations. That was kind of dry. We congratulate those who are entering into or they're enjoying Rosh Hashanah when it's not. You got ahead of us. But oh well, that's your calendar. In ours, the 6th month is barely beginning the 6th month. Very well. Today, I was thinking about wearing 2 of my LVE rings because I like them to make envious all those that don't have it because they don't want to commit with what the ring means. So then I had to. I'm showing off 2 of them, different sizes. That's what's interesting. It's interesting. Very well. I'd like to remind you that we've got a free service for all those that don't know or that don't dare or forget. It's a service that Angelina issues, which is the service of listening to you to see where is the cause of some conflict that is transferred and is shown in your body as an ailment. Because every sickness is actually the expression of an emotion. You have to know that by memory. Every sickness that you may have is the expression of an emotion. If you find the emotion, and the emotion is changed, then the reflection of that emotion, which has become something visible, disappears. It disappears. It's impressive. It would seem to be magical witchcraft. That's the way it is. We express bodily these emotions. And so then the things appear that are like, wow, why did I get this? If you find the emotion that triggers that, then you enter into a process that is recuperated, and you go through another process and goes to that. For that very reason, it is so important to know what is happening to you, to look for the emotion that triggers what you have. And we have a free service that actually it is so expensive, completely expensive, specialized, and we offer it in a free way. That's why I thank in name of all those who with a good heart have given their donations for Angelina, because she does it with all the love, all the passion, with all the love that she has to help the rest to discover their emotions in a free way. Many thanks, Angelina, for everything that you give us. You give this group, and this is just a little bit up ahead of what Angelina does, of what the bride of Yahweh will do with all humanity. Very well. Tonight, when the moon is seen or the sun goes down, whether you see it or not, I will publish the calendar of the month of Elul, which, as I anticipate to you, it has 29 days. So then the month of Elul has 29 days. The 29th day is Sunday, October 15th. The 29th day of Elul is Sunday, October 15th. And that day, Sunday, October 15th, or Elul 29th, you have to go out and look for the moon. So then everyone, all the members of LVE have to go out and look for the moon. October 15th, of course, I'll remind you, because it is very important, because we have to see it, because it gives the beginning to the Etanim the festivities of Etanim. One will have to see it. While some won't be able to see it, others will be able to see it, and that is the confirmation that we'll be able to enter into the 7th month, which is the celebration of Yom Teruah. That's why we've already got prepared the trumpet. We've got the shofar prepared to make it sound in this so special a year the sound that Brian does. The sound that Brian does of trumpets, very impressive. Look at the so special a work that Yahweh has given us. Brian goes up into the mountain, one of the mountains, and he starts to sound the shofar. And we hear it from over there. We hear it in the whole neighborhood, in the entire neighborhood. It is heard. So then, wow, the work that Yahweh has given us, these 4 angels bound, different tasks, but they all have one assigned. Notice that Yahweh has always been the assigned, Brian has always been the one assigned to sound the trumpet. Specific task, impressive. Give us like, yes. Start by giving us a like. I want to see more likes than people watching. I want to see more likes than people watching. I ask you in a very good way. And all those that don't like what they're listening to, then change the channel. There's no problem. You're not welcome here. If you don't like it, you don't have to be in a place that you don't like. Let's check this real quick, how the likes are doing here. We've got 156 likes, 196 watching. Remember to give us a like. Farewell. Shema Israel, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Ekhad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our Elohim, Yahweh one is. In this is based the entire base and the key, the specific one that opens the scriptures. If you don't have that key, you cannot open the scriptures because the scriptures have a cover and they are opened with the key called YHWH. That key, the main one that opens the scripture, anticipates all hidden things covered that have a covering. The key that opens it all is once you understand that Yahweh Elohim is one person, not 2. He doesn't have a divine son that he sent from above, from heaven. There's not a 3rd person called Holy Spirit. It's not a heavenly trio. Like Ellen G. White said, it's not a most holy trinity as the Catholic Church and all the rest ones have. It's not a father and a son like some churches have. That there are 2 beings, one very much superior, and the other has almost the same power, entire divinity and all, but he's not the Father, as Paul presents him. He's a Lord, but our God is the Father. All those things are the covering that does not allow you to understand. The true key is to understand that there's only one Elohim. None divisible, only one being. That only one being is the only one with the Creator who had the idea of everything that exists. That only being was the one which created this world. Even he dressed up in a costume of a snake. Even he did everything he had to do here, and even he came with the skin and body of a man because he incarnated, but it was him. The whole time it was him. He didn't send any son, he sent himself. That goes against the teachings, but someday, Christian teachings that is, but someday everyone will say it was all a lie. What I learned in all this time, these churches, no matter which one it might be, the truth is that Yahweh is one alone. That is what all the churches, all the people are going to say. And it is written. It is written in the Tanakh, in the Old Testament, Jeremiah 16:19 through 21. Yahweh, my strength and my stronghold, my refuge in the day of tribulation. Unto thee shall come the peoples. How many? All the peoples, from the ends of the earth, all the peoples. And shall say, what are they going to say in the future? Only lies was the inheritance of our fathers. Vanity to which there is no avail. If it is men that makes themselves gods, then they are not gods. That is why, behold, I shall make it be known unto them. This time I shall show unto them the strength of mine arm, and they shall know that my name is Yahweh. Only one person is the Creator. Only one person is the one which came with all the custom and flesh and body of a human, but it was Yahweh. Once you understand that, then you understand what the Messiah means. You understand all the prophecies that are related with the coming of the Messiah, who the Messiah is, why all the people from all the nations expect for the Messiah. They expect for the Messiah. They understand it a lot better than the Christians. He is a man. When I say a man, I mean he's human. He has humanity. They're not waiting for someone divine to come to earth. No, that is not what it says that the Messiah is very clear that he is from the human race. Christians believe that he is the Son of God, a co-eternal being with him that came and dressed up with humanity, went to heaven. He's still human, and he will come to rescue the people from all the wickedness of their sins and injustice. That is wrong also. And then all the rest, they all wait for the Messiah. The Arabs are waiting for a Messiah. The pagan nations are also always waiting for a stage or a phase of redemption. It's all the same thing, but the whole world is waiting for a Messiah. Once we understand that Yahweh is one alone, then we understand that the Messiah is a human group. That is the Messiah, as it is written in prophecy. Very well. Malachi 2:17 reads as follows: Ye have wearied Yahweh with your words, and ye say, in what have we wearied him? In that ye say, whomever that doth evil pleaseth Yahweh, and in such he delighteth. Or else, where is the Elohim of justice? That is why today we've got Mr. Penguin here. It is his turn. He wanted to be up here with the crown. He says the whole world has a crown. I also want one. So then Mr. Penguin came to give us his presence and in a representation of this text of where is the Elohim of justice. We already want for this chapter to end, but we've got to be patient. It'll end soon, but it'll end. Very well. With that, we enter into the most extraordinary, less understood prophecy in Scripture, Revelation 17. Then came one of the seven angels that had the seven cups, and spoke to me, saying, Come hither, and I shall show thee the sentence. What? The sentence. Because there was a judgment. You don't know about this, John. It'll be in the future. I'll show you the sentence. What that jury and those judges dictated. Against whom? Against the great whore. The one that sitteth upon many waters. The one that governs the whole world. That one. That sits upon nations, tribes, and tongues. That whore. With whom? With that whore. The kings of the earth have committed fornication. They've all conjoined with her, entered into the seduction of this whore, symbolically speaking, of course. It's talking about a power, a special one, that would have dominion over the whole world. It's very easy to see that. It's very easy to see who owns the world, who own money of the world, who own the industry of the world, who own the Wall Street of the world, even of the art of the world, of absolutely everything, of science, of what medicine is. I don't even want to mention anything specific, but who own it all. Those who give the substances to people that they feel good, who own all that? You'll notice who is the owner of the world. This whore. And that whore is not enough for her that she owns the world, but rather she gathers the rulers of the world and makes them do whatever she wants. They have fornicated. They've had a special relation, intimate rather, the kings, the governors of the earth, and they who dwell upon the earth, the citizens, have become drunk. They are stupid. They can't see. With the wine of her fornication. What fornication? Of the whore and the kings. And he took me in the spirit unto the desert. The desert means a place where there is nothing. A place that is practically empty, where no great thing exists, where everything is uninhabited. That is a desert. So then, for what reason is John taken into the wilderness? Because he's taken into the kingdom of the sixth head, which has to be a wilderness. This whole prophecy fits in marvelously in the great ingraining in every which way. It fits in to perfection. There's no place that you say, this doesn't fit in, this doesn't fit in. John was not taken to a great city. He was not taken to an ocean, which means many things. It fits many waters, multitudes, peoples, nations, and tongues. No, he was taken to a desert, where it's all a desert. There's nothing there. That space of a symbol, which is a symbol, a wilderness, it also goes with the symbol of the sixth king. It all fits into perfection harmoniously, because this prophecy was given by Yahweh unto whom? It was given for Jesus Christ. And who's Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ is the Messiah. He is the new, per se, the new Messiah. Why new? Well, because the people understand the Messiah as the old one, the one from 2,000 years ago, the old Messiah, which was Yahweh, that played the role of a Messiah, but was not the Messiah. He played the role of a Messiah, played the role of the Son of Man, played a role of everything that symbolizes all the symbolism under that name. But it actually was not the Messiah. So then the people are waiting for the old Messiah, the Messiah that's 2,000 years ago, that has changed form, that was an eternal God, that dressed up with human clothing, and that was the Messiah. So people are waiting for that Messiah. And actually, they don't understand that the one coming is a new Messiah. Why a new Messiah? Because he is the Messiah. But he'll be new for all the people. And did you know that the word lamb, per se, for example, lamb means new. It means new. The word comes from Latin. I understand. You're going to say, but in Greek it says lamb. I mean, that's fine. It's always the same thing. Lamb means it is a lamb, or the he-goat, that could be young, a kid, young. And young is equal to new. It's not an old sheep. There's no old sheep. They don't exist. Old rams become a he-goat, but not a lamb. Is someone young, someone new. So then the term lamb, which is all enclosed in symbols, do you know what it means? Write this down, this definition, but it's only for those who have eyes to see. A lamb in Revelation means a new Messiah, or the young Messiah. Not the old Messiah, but the new Messiah, because this world will receive the new Messiah, and the new Messiah is the Messiah, because there's never been the Messiah. The Messiah, that is. There were types of Messiah. Yahweh calls Cyrus Messiah. All the kings were Messiah because they were anointed. David was a Messiah, but of course all the kings, the prophets also, they're all Messiahs. They're all Messiahs. But when you talk about the Messiah, it's only one alone. The other ones were Mashiach, anointed, but when you talk about the Messiah, he is the only one that there will be and will exist for all eternity. That's the one. And who is that Messiah? It is the old Messiah that all the people understand to be as old. No, the people will have to understand even the term lamb. Why? Because the word sheep bothers me. I don't want to have the term of a sheep, not to me nor anyone from the eternal truth, but because sheep are stupid. Sheep, he was taken like a lamb unto the slaughter. They don't defend themselves. They believe everything. The lambs are innocent, that they're going to trap them, and not innocent that they didn't do anything bad. But innocent is stupid, naive. That they don't think, they believe whatever stupid shit. They believe all the deceit that there's ever been. All the members of the churches are like little sheep that follow a wolf in sheep's clothing. So then I don't like the term sheep or lamb. But once we understand and we study the word lamb, why does Yahweh show us the word lamb in Revelation? Because I could see it elsewhere also. Yahweh came as a lamb. But why? In other places where it is clearly represented with other symbols, why a lamb? I do not identify with a lamb. But I've understood that the word lamb is a symbol of someone young, of someone new. So then, lamb precisely. Exactly. A few years of existence, and it's not the only one that's been waited for. Everyone's waiting for the Messiah from old, from 2,000 years ago. This is the new Messiah. People say, no, hold on, we're waiting for Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. No, this is the old Messiah, which actually played the role of a Messiah, but it was Yahweh. He anointed himself in either case, although a woman anointed him. We all know that. But he made himself be called Messiah and all the rest. But the Messiah of humanity is a new one. For them, it'll be a new Messiah, a young one, a new Messiah. So then there it makes sense. The word lamb in Revelation, it makes sense there. As when it says the lamb opened the seals. If you understand that word the way I'm teaching it to you, you would read the new Messiah opened the seals. Wow. And all the rest of the texts. For example, and they're going to worship God who is sitting in the throne, and the lamb instead of the lamb, God, Elohim, sitting in the throne, and the new Messiah. You read it like that, then you can say, wow. If it were so, there would not have any covering. The Bible would not be directly understood by anyone that can read. They're going to see a new Messiah. Instead of a lamb, it said new Messiah. The people would not be waiting for the old Messiah of Nazareth. They would be waiting for a new Messiah, as the Jews. They're not waiting for an old Messiah, the Jews, mind you. They're waiting for a new guy from this generation. They said, when is he going to appear? When would Yahweh be the Messiah here? Not a guy from old, no, none whatsoever. It's not a reincarnation. No. It is a new Messiah. So then Yahweh, since this message is for his bride, Yeshua, then he enclosed it in a symbol. Who was going to understand it? Tell the truth, no one would understand. But someone had to understand. Someone in which the message has to arrive with the message for him, which is the wisdom that Yahweh gives unto Jesus Christ, Jesus the Messiah. The Messiah has to understand it. And then later, the Messiah will share it with whomever he wants to share it with. But the one that first has to understand it is this is the wisdom that Yahweh gave to Jesus Christ. Then Jesus Christ has to understand that the rest of the world doesn't understand a thing. They understand the Lamb. They relate it with the Lamb that died 2,000 years ago. They relate all of that. But the Messiah has to understand, oh, now I understand why he used the word Lamb. Lamb equals new Messiah for humanity. Young, not old of 2,000 years ago. Young. And when we talk about young, is that he never had a debut as a Messiah. It's the new Messiah. That's why he's new, young, new. It's not the old Messiah, already known, that the people worshipped him for years. No. No one worshipped him. No one even cared about him, about the new one. He's absolutely new, just like that. Very well. Having understood that, I don't know, we've already gotten ahead. Well, we're in number 13. He took me in the spirit, John, into the desert. And I saw, there he starts to see the vision before he had just heard only. He starts to see, I saw a woman, a symbol, sitting upon a scarlet beast, filled with blasphemous names that had 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, and adorned with gold, precious stones, and pearls, and had in her hand a golden cup filled with abominations and of the filth of her fornication. And in her forehead a name written, a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of the horse and of the abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and of the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, it's not that he had seen her, John. No, this expression clearly means, and when I noticed who it was, I was astonished with great astonishment. Not with any astonishment, but with great astonishment. Once I recognized that it cannot be. It can't, this people, my people, it cannot be that they are the great whore. I can't believe it. It is the worst prostitute that exists. Once I recognized who it was, I could not believe it. That is what it says. I won't explain anymore because I've explained it in all the other subjects before. 7. And the angel said unto me, why are you astonished? He should not have astonished. Look, Yeshua, he said, you're all sons of your father, the devil. That's perfect. Father, the devil created Israel. And it says, you're liars from the beginning. You are assassins from the beginning. Exactly. You're sons of the father of lies entirely. Absolutely, the father of lies. And also the father of the truth. He could have said, you're sons of the father of truth. Very well said. He could also have said, and he did say it, you're sons of father of lies, which is also true. He could have said, your father is the giver of life, of the truth. But what he said, the contrary. He was upset and he had to say something. And for everyone to get confused, you're sons of the assassin, the first one that exists, that assassins from the beginning. He's completely right. He's completely right. That is Yahweh. Yahweh is the greatest assassin, the giver of life, the greater. He gives life and then taketh away. It says Yahweh gives life and then takes it away. What's he saying? Person says he took away his life. You say it's an assassin, took his life. But if Yahweh that says it, he says, I give life and I take it. We don't call him a murderer. The Christian says they could not dare to call him an assassin. Same expression. Very same expression. What if a father who says, I gave the life to the son of his mother that I have, and I take it away too. And if he takes it away, where does the father go? He goes to jail. And even if he confesses, he goes to jail. He can't take the life to his son. Do we agree? Makes him an assassin. Do we agree or not? Okay. But Yahweh can say, I give life and I take it away. No one says, no. Oh yeah, because Yahweh is so great that he said, no, don't be idiots. Read what it says. Read what it says. What it says is, I give life and I take away life. Because I invented giving life and I also invented taking life out. I am the greatest, the first, the father of murders. I am. Don't look for another. I am the father of murder. I am the father of giving life. I am the father of killing. I am the father of truth. And I am the father of lies. I am the father of it all. Just like that, it all. If they don't, the one that does not understand this, they don't know Yahweh. And if they don't know Yahweh, they could never be the Messiah of Yahweh. Yahweh will not anoint anyone who says, look, if you don't know me, you don't know the way I am. You don't know where evil comes from. No, because I believe that there is an evil being that you created. And he would look at you. And he was envious and he wanted to be like you. He says, I'm going to get a throne in the heights and I'll be like you. In what head could it fit? Only in that of a Christian. In a Christian with lots of fecal matter and also gray matter. So they replace what they see in the churches, and when you least expect it, the gray matter has been reduced and it's all fecal matter, and they don't understand anything. It says, the devil that made me do this. The devil is the father of lies. How could he tell Israel, you're all sons of the devil, when Only a father can form it. He's saying it right there. He's declaring, I am the devil that created you. Wow. The fruit does not fall far from the tree. How is Israel? It's just like their father. So he was upset right there and gave a fake characteristic. You're all sons of the devil, the greatest murder there is. Why a serpent? Because a serpent begotten you. If he were praising them, he would have said, you're sons of God, the sons of the giver of life, the Most High. So then, of course, they would feel great. Both things he could say, and both things are true. For those who understand. For those who understand. No one can get to be a Messiah if they don't know our Father. Truly. Very well. So then it says, why are you astonished? Why do you marvel? You should not marvel. I should tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns. 8. 8, and we shall see if there are any likes. Very good, very good. There are more likes than people watching. 239 likes, 223 watching. That is very, very good. Very good. Please start working because everything draweth nigh. As I've told you, the destiny is written, and the end is inevitable. How do I like that phrase? Moving on. The beast that thou hast seen, John, was, and is not. What I've just seen, that was. He says that was. You recognized her, right? Was. Means was, she existed before, lived before, and is no longer exists. No longer exists. No, the place that I took you, John, does not exist. Where did you bring me? Okay, look, it's all a desert. So then in this desert, the beast no longer exists. So then the beast doesn't have any dominion over anyone. No one? No one. Doesn't have dominion over anyone. Has lost her dominion, lost her place, lost her throne, lost everything. She's being persecuted everywhere that she goeth. Oh, the beast that thou hast seen was, is not, no longer exists. Says, but don't you worry. She is about to go up out of the abyss, go up out of death. She's dead now. She's dead. But she'll go up from the abyss. She'll go up from the grave and will go into perdition, unto complete destruction. That's what it says. Perdition means complete destruction. It'll go into destruction forever. And they who dwell upon the earth, John felt better there. It says, what's going to happen to them? They whose names are not written since the foundation of the world in the book of life. What? There's a predestination? John, listen to my words. There's a book of life that is written since before building anything or creating anything in this world. The first thing that the Creator did was to write a book of life. That's what the phrase says. Then he created the world, and then he created the inhabitants thereof. The first thing he did is that before making the movie and executing it in the scenery live, he wrote the whole. The end is inevitable. So then the writer, this is the story of this world. It goes way past what people can imagine. It is the script of this movie. It was going to be live because all the actors would act, because we all act. Actors, there's fourth class actors, there's filling actors, and supporting actors, a little more important ones that have a role that's a little more relevant in history. Others that are first class actors, with name and all. Actors that are protagonists, but that later, in the very same story, would die. And then you've got the final actors that get all the glory and the title and everything. So then it's all been written in a book. This story of the book of history of this world is called the book of life because the word says, what is life? Creation. So then you're never, don't ever imagine, maybe you were imagining now, of entire life, that it was a little tiny bug that the creator had and said, oh, let's see, let's do this here. Oh, this is, oh, no. It is the entire script, the book of life. And that book of life was, would pass 6,000 years and way past that. Just hold on. I'm telling you what it says here. Look here, John. The book of the whole history, of this whole scenery, of everything that was to be lived since the beginning has already been written. The actors who are going to act, the NPCs, those that don't play any role but are needed, as any work is needed, it's all written. And the main protagonists are written. We're not going to spread out the roles as we're working on the work. Who wants to work with us? And no, it's all been designed. It's all been absolutely pre-programmed. That is what this is saying. It's very simple to understand. I'll read it again. It says, it reads as follows. It says, the beast that thou hast seen that was and is not and is about to go up in the abyss. It's also written in the book of life. The beast is in the book of life. Yes, it's all. The whole story is in the book of life. That book is spectacular. That is why the angel says it's all written. John, it's all written. The beast that thou hast seen was and is not and is about to go up out from the abyss and go into perdition. And they who dwell upon the earth, whose names are not written since the foundation of the world in the book of life. That is what it means. They're not written as protagonists. There is no one, pay attention to my words, because they're going to be contradictory with what you believe in and contradictory to with what you believe you read. Every living being that has ever lived on this earth was not born by chance. That precisely in a passionate nation or a rape or just because someone was horny, momentary lust, someone was born. No, it's all written. It's all written here. There is no being that is the word that I'm looking for. Not by chance. There is no, well, I can't find the word. There's nothing outside of the book. They're all written in the book of life, so you understand. They're all written there in the book of life. What the angel is saying for they that have ears to hear is that not all are protagonists in the book of life. They're not all protagonists. There's no one that has ever existed on this earth that exists today that has not been written in the book of Yahweh. That is the creation thereof. That is the creation. I'll read to you whatever Bible. Let's see what this one says. Let's go to creation. Let's go to Bereshit or Exodus. Exodus or Genesis. What am I saying? Genesis. Bereshit 2, 1. I'll see what it says in this one. I don't even know what it says, but I'll read what it says in this version. Spanish YHWH. It says, heaven and earth and all that there is has been finished. That's it. What does that say? Can somebody tell me what they understood? Worst translation. Let me read another one. I'll read the previous one so you understand. Bereshit or Genesis 1:31. And God saw that everything that he had made was very good. In this way was the sixth day completed. And the sixth day is everything completed. On the sixth day that we're living in, the millennium is the fulfillment of it all. It says, in heaven and earth, and everything in them, how many, every living thing that there's ever been. That is the book of life. We're finished. The seventh day ended. God, what he had done, and he rested. What does he do on the seventh day? What does he rest? Because it's prophecy. It's a prophecy. Why does God rest? Because the Messiah works. Why does God rest during the seventh day? Because the Messiah works. Because the Sabbath was made because of men. And the man is the Messiah. Because of the Messiah, God says, now, that's it. Now I'll give you the kingdom. I'll give you everything. Do everything yourself. Me? Yes, everything. But you come with your power? No, 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 no. What do you mean with my power and transformer thing? I'll do everything that you need to be a Messiah. And I'll just cross my arms and see what you do. On the seventh day. It's my seventh day. Read the Bible. Seventh day, it says, I end it. That's it. It's over. I'm done. I'm done. How many days did you work? 6 days did I work. Everything on earth. I did everything. Everything. Absolutely everything. So then it's all written in the book of life. Those that are good, that are bad, the prophets, the protagonists, they're all written in the book of life. It's not a little tiny book. It is the book of the creation. Now, in the book of creation, you got the protagonist, and that's what it means. I'll read it in a different version. A better one, the way that is more literal. Let's go and see this one. I'll read in a different one. Let's go see this one. Genesis chapter 2. I'll read first number 31 from the first one, and then number 2, 131 and 2, 1. And God saw Elohim, everything that he had made. And behold, it was good in a great manner. And it was the evening and the morning, the sixth day. And then the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their host. Who? All their host. He was done with all their host. What is the host? The host are the inhabitants. So then how we're all done? Everything, absolutely everything. This is not talk about the creation in the beginning only. It's a prophecy which expands more than anything. It's for that. It expands in the millennium. In the sixth millennium, it ends, creation ends. So then everything, everyone that is born, that have lived, it was all pre-programmed, absolutely pre-programmed. The destiny of the world, of men, is written. Read it. In your book, exactly. Exactly. There you have it, Book of Life. Yes, it's all very clear there. Every day of my life was written. It was written. Destiny is written. Why don't you understand? The end is inevitable. The end of Babylon and everything is inevitable. I'm reading in English here. I didn't like the way it says in English. It's difficult. Nobody will understand. So then let's look for a different version. Absolutely, absolutely. But at least you learned something today, that the book of life is the book of creation. You've learned that today. I could wrap this up and go and make some tacos. Yeah, because how much wisdom do I have to give you? How much wisdom do I have to give you? This is not about, oh, you think you come to church? How much did you learn every Sunday that you went to church? How much would you learn with your priest at Mass? Tell me. And if you went to the Adventist church, how much would you learn? In the Sabbath school, how much would you learn? Let's see what this one says. I am reading Nakar Kolanga, which is as follows. Nakar Kolanga says, the last one from number 1 and the first one from number 2 says, and God saw. No, it doesn't say. Yeah, it does. And God saw that it was very good what he had done. And there was the evening and the morning, the sixth day. And thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. It's very clear, absolutely clear. We cannot have it any more clear. So then we go back to this text. We're on number 8. It reads as follows. The beast that thou hast seen was and is not, and is about to go up out of the abyss and go into perdition. And they who dwell upon the earth, they whose name are not written, and I would add, they're not written as protagonists from the very foundation of the world in the book of life. So then they're written there like NPCs, they're written, but they're not the protagonists. Their starring role, they're written, because if the angel says those that are not written, they're going to worship, means that they're not written for a special group, but they are written because they know that they're going to worship the beast. Those that don't play a special written role in the book of life shall be astonished, like you, John, seeing the beast that was and died and is not and goes back to life, goes back to be reborn and shall be. They are surprised, they love it, they say, this is the marvel of God, blessed be the beast. Who is like unto the beast? Who can fight against her? This is a great blessing from God. Why do they play that role? Because they are written in the book of life to fulfill that role. They're not starring roles. That is what the text says. And we go on to number 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom, as this section of Revelation 17 is called. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen. They have died, they disappeared. 1 is the 6th one. 5 have fallen, 1 is. That's the 1 is in the desert. I was taken to the desert because the 1 is with the 6th in the desert is the same thing. So then, once we see whom the 6th one belongs to, you'll understand that it was a true desert. If John was taken in a vision there and they showed him a wilderness, so that they see that the city of Jerusalem, not of Israel, was a desert. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, upon which this woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. It says, the angel says, look, John, this is not for you, it's for the mind that hath wisdom. Why do you insult me like that? John doesn't even notice that. It is for the man that has wisdom. John, just write that. I don't have wisdom. No, obviously not. But don't write that. You're not even going to notice. Just say, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth. How many are they? It's 7. It's all called Revelation 17. I shortened it, because it was too long. But what is this series called? It's not called Revelation 17. How is the series called? What is this series called? You have to tell me how this series began. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. What's the name of the series? Should I go light the fire? What is the series called? No one knows the name this series is called. I'm going to stay here until somebody writes it online. Tell it to me entirely. Tell me the name of this series, the way it's called. No. I see that you have not understood. You have not understood. The series of Revelation 17, what is it called? How did the first chapter begin? Which is not in YouTube. It disappeared. It's not there, but it's in Odyssey. It's in Odyssey and in Rumble. It is called Revelation 17, the 7 kings in the end of Babylon. How did you ever forget about that, part 1? Revelation 17, the 7 kings in the end of Babylon, part 2. Revelation 17, the 7 kings in the end of Babylon, part 3. Revelation 17, the 7 kings, the end of Babylon, part 4. Revelation 17, the 7 kings and the end of Babylon, part 5, judgment. How do you ever forget? I mean, this never took off, Revelation 17. Then I got bored of writing the whole long title, but this series is called Revelation 17, the 7 kings, the end of Babylon, part 48. And here's the mind which hath wisdom, part 5. Nobody got a 10 here, no one. Absolutely no one. No one. Revelation 17, the 7 kings in the end of Babylon. Look, What a title that is so marvelous. Not just Revelation 16. What are we studying? The seven kings and what else? And the end of Babylon. But the end of Babylon would not come if it didn't do a judgment first. And in this series, which is called Revelation 17, the seven kings and the end of Babylon, part 5 was called the judgment. Judgment. It had to be in this series. There was not going to be an end of Babylon if there was not this series. This series is called, in a majestic way, what is this series called? How is the series called? Revelation 17, the seven kings, and the end of Babylon. That's the way the series is called. So you never forget. And we're in part 48 thereof. And in part 48, you forgot the way this series was called. I reduced it. Someday I'll put A17. And in 10, 15 chapters, you're not going to know what A17 means. You think it's a warplane. What's A17? It's the new plane. Or maybe you think it's medicine. Oh, vitamin. You've got A, vitamin A, A17. One day, it'll take me 10 chapters for me to put A17. People are going to say, it's something that we don't understand what they mean. So then I'm going to ask you, what does A17 mean? You're going to say, I don't know. Tell the truth. It's the new vitamin that it's going around? No. Absolutely. I mean, wow. I'm starting to sweat. I'm starting to sweat. How are you not going to know the name of this series? Mamma mia. Wow. Very well. So then, this, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The seven heads are seven mountains, upon which the woman sitteth. And it is seven kings. Part of the title, and it's seven kings. 5 are fallen. When John is watching, one is reigning, he is the 6th. And the other is not yet come. He says, I'm warning you, it's 7, not anyone else. It's 7. John, it's 7. One reigneth, he is the 6th. And the other, which is the other? Little Johnny? Oh, the 7th. Very good, very good. We're doing all right. That 7th one has not yet come, John. You're looking at the kingdom of the 6th. The 7th one has yet come, but when he cometh, I'm going to explain something to you. It won't be for you, but it'll be for the Lamb. What does Lamb mean? And I said what Lamb means in Revelation under the LVE, the new Messiah, of course. The new Messiah. Very good. I'm going to ask you in 2 weeks, and you're not going to answer me well. Okay. So then it says, John, when the 7th one cometh, which won't be your time. This is for the Lamb. When the 7th one cometh, he says, actually, you'll be the one that least doubts. You didn't doubt anything. He says, and when he cometh, the other one has yet cometh, the 7th one, and when he cometh, it is necessary. Why? Because it is written, it is necessary that he last but a short time. Why the word brief? It's good. I don't like the way it's called in Greek, but it is very, very short. Very short. Very short, very, very short time. When Yeshua says, many are called, but a few are chosen. It's the very same word. A few means brief. Very few. You have been faithful upon the few, and I shall place you upon the many. So in very few, very minute, almost nothing. It'll last a very short time. When the 7th one coming, it is necessary that he last but a brief time. What he will last. Very well. Move this way. And here is where we stopped last Shabbat. Who are these 7 kings? The last thing we studied was, we're going to study the kings. John is standing on the 6th king. on a period that the prophecy also says that it would be a desert, the reigning of the sixth. How interesting, right? And when the seventh one cometh, which would do away with the kingdom of the sixth one, he would last but a brief time, very, very brief time. And then what would happen? Then what would come would be a new one, but actually it was an old one. Who are these seven kings? The first one is Israel. Israel is the one that founds the city of David, which becomes the city, the capital one of the kingdom of the first king, not the first one, the second king of Israel, but the first capital of the kingdom of David, and there it becomes the house of David, the mansion of David, the city of David. Up until today, it's called Jerusalem, the city of David. So then David makes his capital there of the kingdom. Where? In Jerusalem. Very well. The first one, Jerusalem, as we have studied already, symbolically represents a woman. That woman, actually, it's an entire kingdom, which is the kingdom of Israel. That woman, identified in all the previous subjects that we have seen, belongs to Israel. So then, who is the first political power in which reigns upon Jerusalem or Israel, or what we could call the same thing, Jerusalem? That founds it, the one that creates it, the one that dominates it is David. In other words, the first kingdom upon that physical place, where the woman is Israel. And he sees it for many years. There's no need that we start to enumerate all the years that power would make no sense. But there comes a time in which Yahweh, which everything is written, it's all written. Yahweh says, okay, I'm tired of the kingdom of Israel. I'm going to bring another king to dominate over this whole zone. I'm going to make that king to even destroy their temple, because otherwise they won't understand. I'm going to burn their temple down. I'm going to make them destroy the city, pretty much. And then afterwards I'll let it be destroyed. But I'll take most of the inhabitants to a different kingdom, that they understand who calls the shots. A second head cometh, a second king. Who is the second king? Babylon. Who takes Jerusalem? Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar was the head of Babylon. So then the second king that dominates the whole area, that conquers the whole city and takes over the city, destroys its temple and says, this is my territory, is Babylon. So then we've already got the first king, Israel. Second king, Babylon. This prophecy that I'm unraveling here is more, this is worth more, and not because I'm Argentinian, not because you think that I'm too proud. No, not because of that. This prophecy, what I am solving here, what I'm opening of the scripture here, cannot be paid for with all the gold that exists in the world. You cannot pay for it, because you either have it or you don't. It has no price. So then what I am giving you, every one of you, it's worth more than the gold of the whole world, because it's wisdom. Wisdom is worth more than all the gold and precious stone. It has no price. You can't buy it. Oh, I want lots of wisdom. Give me money. No. Take this whole money and make me a wise man. It doesn't work that way. It works in a different way. Wisdom cannot be bought. It has no price. It has more price than all the precious things in the world. It is told to you by Scripture. So then what I'm interpreting here, if there's anyone that is listening and they could care, not because of the criticism, they could care, then you're welcome to listen and to really be receiving something very special. If you're a being, if you're a pig, swine, you'll trample upon it. And it's not my intention to give persons to those swine, but since we're live, anyone can listen. There could be a couple swine here and there that puts his snout in, and of course they receive a jewel that no one in the world could ever pay for. What does a pig do? He takes it and tramples it in the mud. So then all the ones that put a thumbs down, they're swine. They are swine that have received something that they cannot see, they cannot handle, they cannot understand it. So then all they can do is to put their hoofs down. There are many. Last Shabbat, many of them put their thumbs down. Lately, many swine enter to watch. And with their stupid thumbs, they go thumbs down. Is there anyone commenting, saying this guy's up? There was one that says what? Oh, yeah. So they wake up. There's some crazy guy that is deceiving you. My entire Bible says that there's two. Oh, Jesus and the Father. It's all two. It says the Father sent me and blah, blah, blah. Poor thing. Don't care. Don't even listen to it. They can't understand. They're like, they have their snout like that. They cannot see it. They cannot see it. But all they who understand this precious jewel, you're receiving a jewel that cannot be paid for. That is the explanation of this prophecy. First kingdom, Israel, magnificent, because Jerusalem, it is the prostitute. Second kingdom that takes that whore and raise is Babylon. But Babylon has it for a long time, but there comes a kingdom that steals everything from Babylon, even her city. Who are they? They who conquered Babylon. When Babylon falls, all the dominions of Babylon fall, and they go on to be parts of the Medes and the Persians. So then, third head that takes possession of that woman are the Medes and the Persians. In fact, Yahweh calls Darius the Mede. He calls him a Messiah. This is my Messiah, he says. No, if I called him, I named him, I brought him over. What for? So that he can conquer Babylon, exactly. And also to conquer the other prostitute, Jerusalem. So then we've got three heads, three fallen heads in the time of John. Not in the time of John. When John was taken in vision into the desert, five fallen Israel dominated, disappeared. Babylon. The Medes and the Persians. Who conquered the Medes and the Persians? Well, this is even biblically in the book of Maccabees. The Maccabees, who had dominion over Jerusalem in the time of the Maccabees. Greece did. Greece conquers the Medes and the Persians. When Alexander the Great conquers everything that he can, one of the great conquers that he does is the Medes and Persians, all the kingdoms of the Medes and the Persians, and within that he conquers Jerusalem, the whole kingdom of Israel. So then it was switching hands. David created it. Dominates Israel, dominate David. The first kingdom. Then Nebuchadnezzar comes, Babylon, second kingdom. Then the Medes and Persians. Then says, no, it's only us here, the owners of this earth. Third king, it's more than clear. It says fourth king. No. It is ours. Our territory of Greece. And you've got another kingdom. Brutal that says, no, you know what? It's also in the Bible. You know what? This territory is ours. Who won the war against the Greeks? Who conquered all the lands of the Greeks? Who was it? Rome, of course. Rome says, no, you know what? This is all ours. Because we've conquered all these lands, and now all of Jerusalem is ours. When Yahweh came in the form of a human being that called himself Yeshua, under whose rule were they? Under Rome. So then they didn't do whatever they pleased. They had to go and ask permission from the Romans to say, hey, we want to judge this guy, we want to kill him. What the Romans say? Tell the truth. No. Tell the truth, no. We're not going to do anything. No, because our laws, no. You know what? We're going to wash our hands. What do you want? I'm going to let the Jewish people decide, but it's a Roman territory. Jerusalem was a Roman territory. Why? because Rome is the fifth head, would rule over that prostitute. It is more than clear how marvelous, it's fabulous. It's so fabulous that it marks even up until all times. That's what happens. It's very pretty to see it in history. See how pretty, yeah, it was founded by David, stole from Babylon, stole from the Medes, stole from Greece, and then Rome comes and stole it. It is more than clear. It cannot be denied. There's no one that can say it wasn't so. It was so, but mathematically so. But Rome was also going to lose that territory. The angel takes John into the desert and says, look, you're in the desert. Why am I in the desert? Because the land that we're talking about was made a desert. And when was it made a desert? When Rome started to destroy it, but Rome did not keep it. Someone more powerful than Rome came and lost the territory. And who was it? It was the Ottoman Empire, Turkish Ottoman Empire. The Turkish Ottoman Empire will sum it up with only one word, the Muslims, because amongst themselves they conquer themselves, because there are many chiefs, many heads, many governments, all of the same thing. But of course, there were war amongst them, and they would fight and they would take over the territories. More than anything, it was the Turkish Ottoman Empire. We reduced it as the Muslims. When the Muslims and all who attacked Rome freed the Roman yoke of that whole area, they took over Jerusalem, and that is where we have the Palestines. The Palestines is what was left of the Turkish Ottoman Empire. They say, we still live here. Yes, of course, from that time. But they don't belong there. If we're going to study that, well, the Palestinians are not the originators of that place. That place is the mixture of successive victories and more than anything is conquers upon conquers and fighting, and other people would come. So then the whole mixture of Arabs that were left that are not there, that didn't live there, it is a part of the sixth head. So then that whole oppression of the people that has my sympathy, that whole Palestine people, they're not the owners of the earth. Absolutely not. The only owners of the earth, the real ones, was the one that founded it, David. I have to recognize it. I cannot just say, no, they are the originators. No, absolutely not. No. In the script, the book of life, it says David made the city of his, and then become a capital, and Jerusalem is the city of Israel, the capital. Then he gave it to Babylon, then the Medes and the Persians, then Greece, and then Rome. And afterwards, after Rome almost destroys everything, they were destroyed. And what comes are the Arabs, and they take possession thereof. Something that was not of theirs, it was not of theirs, that they take possession of all the lands. But when the Arabs take over it, more of that time, actually, they were nomad people that like to live in the desert, peoples that did not have the ambition of building anything, those peoples, and they did of that land a complete desert. They lived from the animals, then nothing would flourish. When John saw that, he saw and said, oh, this is a desert, what happened here? What happened here? Who would go? And then the sixth king dominates. So then the sixth king, it is the sixth kingdom, and then a time from no one, a land of no one, only the Muslims, no one else. Okay, so then we've already got 6 heads. Now I understand why John is taken. I'll repeat this because some don't understand it. That's why I repeat things, because I love it. I enjoy this prophecy. Every detail is so magnificent. John says, come, I'm going to show you the vision. He takes them to a futuristic time. It says, look, 5 kings have fallen. Who are they? Israel, Babylon, the Medes and Persians, Greece, and Rome. Those 5 no longer exist on this earth. And who is reigning? Because this desert the most animalistic ones are reigning. I mean, let me measure my words, because then they cancel us. The ones reigning are let's the least domesticated of them all. Like the Bible talks of those people, like of Ishmael says he'll be a wild donkey, a wild ass. Biblical words of Israel, of Ishmael, that is where the Ishmaelites come from, and that is where part or most of the Arab people come from. The Ishmaelites, Ishmael says, it'll be a people of a wild ass. They're pretty ass-like, and they're pretty wild. I'm just reading the text only that it says. It is translated in a very, very soft way. It says that Ishmael will be a wild ass. Wild because they couldn't dominate him, and an ass because, and everything because he also didn't have too much light, let's say. So that is what that kingdom became, right there, that precisely that. And John says, what happened here? And these wild asses are reigning. It's a whole horde of wild asses. Look, where I live, there are wild asses, but they don't live in the prairies which are wild, filled with trees. They live nowhere, right? Says, where do they get water? They know where to look for water. There's nothing. It is rocks upon rocks, wild, just a little plant here and there. It's a desert. I live in the desert. It's just that man has done marvelous things in this desert, but California is a desert. But it's got water below. It's a super blessed land. It's got the Euphrates, per se, and it became the richest state and the most productive state of the U.S. But actually, it's a desert. Just like Israel. Israel, when they were already losing all the previous kings, the sixth king made it a complete desert. That's why John says, I was taken into the desert. What he thought was a desert, of course, only the wild asses ruled the Turkish Ottoman Empire. So then we've already got the six, and now we're getting closer. It's seven. What is this called? It's Revelation 17, the seven kings, and the end of Babylon, part 48. For the mind that hath wisdom, part 5. And the other one has yet not come. And when he cometh, it is necessary that he last but a brief time. Wow. Who conquered? It's got to be a kingdom, not because I would look in history and try to make it match and glue it with, I don't know, with glue, super glue, or whatever glue out there, just like that, so that it glues together. No, it's got to be something that's absolutely hallucinating. A kingdom that would last nothing. Compared to the rest, nothing. Kingdom that's transitory. Who came? Who conquered the land? Who conquered the land in which the Arab peoples lived in? The story is here, 1917. Yes, precisely, already almost in our times. It was 2 years before that Ellen G. White had already died. What's got anything to do with that? Nothing. My Adventist heritage comes up. Is that Helen White had been put to rest? Oh, that'd be great, because I should continue to prophesize and prophesize, just so you find yourself in time, so that the Adventists can find themselves in times. Ellen White had just died. 1915. It's got nothing to do with the fact, but Adventists have fun with this. Southern. What happened? What happened in 1917? The Ottomans are destroyed in the battle called the Battle of Jerusalem during the First World War. Oh. What was the objective of the First World War then? Is because some crazy guy fired one from the royalty, because no, it's all written. The end is inevitable. It's all written. The First World War was inevitable. Why? Because the seventh, that was dead, had to poke his head out of the tomb, and the people were dead in a gas chamber, cremation chamber. There was lots of millions disappeared people and all the rest. It was the guy was pretty dead, right? In the eyes of the world, he was very dead. He had been persecuted actually everywhere. It's incredible. It's incredible, the story of the Jewish people. Did you know that the curses and sometimes the punishments become a blessing? Why do you think? This is one of the motives, mind you, aside from the blessing, but I'm going to give a secret. Here, a secret. Just a secret. That it's not a secret because I said it 20 million times, but we're going to say it again because it's a secret. Why has the Jewish people been so successful? I'm going to explain to you in 2 minutes. The Jewish people was a very common people. It was not very much of a merchant. They were just kind of like you. He would just have a dog shit job, just almost with nothing. It's not that the Jewish people would dominate. They were no. They were just, lazy people like you, give or take. They would work, just give or take. They would live in the lands of their parents, and if they didn't have a job, it just all poor people, just like that. And when the least expected, they'd start to fish, like Peter and all those. They'd start to fish, fishermen. Some others would preach, but there was prophets. But there was a people that would dominate the world and say, wow, that people, they're brilliant. No. That's why here comes the secret. Here comes the secret. Pay attention. Yahweh says, I'm going to force these guys to get something good out of them. I'm going to kick them in the ass. I'm going to bring them out of the city, and I'm going to make them be hated by the whole world. Hated because they killed Jesus, for example. Because they're sons of bitches. So then the story tells, and this is told by many families. I've read it many times in many places, stories that are absolutely true of the reason of why they were forced to take control of the world. But I'm going to explain it to you now so you understand it. Because you don't understand, no one understands it. If you went through similar circumstances, you would think it a different way. But since you don't, then you think like the rest of the world, and you have money, not even to buy the ring. Your mind is small. It was small in the mind of Israel, mind you. Don't think that they were the great merchants. Hold on. The great merchants were those of Nineveh, the Syrians. Those were the great merchants. Israel was not the one that the current merchants of the world. No, nothing. Read it to me where they had the merchant. Read it. No, don't believe it. It was just conquering in battles and with the help of God, but nothing else. So then Yahweh, by obligating them to lose everything, their lands, he obligated them to be spread out through all the nations. And to top it off, he gave them the worst reputation. They deserve it. The worst reputation that there is. So then, they would get to the nations, and nobody wanted to give them any worry from. Oh, we don't want to give you a job. We don't want to employ you. And they'd started to starve to death because they would not employ them. Did you know that in those extreme tests, that is what we see now, the domination of the world. Did you know how? Very simple. It's psychology. By not giving them work, they were forced to work for their own. Forced. They started to do things, manual things, to fabricate things, they started to do treaties because they could not be employed because they would not be, nobody would employ them. So then they were obligated to work, the whole family, in things which they had never done before, the others. And when they least expected it, they had more money than the rest. And since they had more money than the rest, they said, we can loan you some cash. We can loan you some cash for the, small sum of, amongst ourselves, we We do not charge ourselves interest because it's prohibited by the Torah, but for you, just a small quote of interest, we can start to loan you. What do you need? From being the most despicable people, they start to be the people that dominated everything because they would loan money. What? Because you still have the mind of an employee, of a fucking employee. If God or I would kick you in the ass and would kick you and says, nobody will employ you. Start to work, you son of a bitch. Move your hands. Fight for it. Make a product, sell it. Who do you think are the sellers of the world? They are. They don't work for you. Can you give me a little job? You can shove it up your ass. That's for you, but for them, I generate work. That, historically speaking, that is what made the most rich nation in the world. Because to go out of the mentality of subjugating to the slavery to work for another, to be the owners, the masters. When you start to be the master in your work, the patron of, you don't work hours to no one, you don't work for anyone. Sooner or later, your children start to do the same. They start to make money because money doesn't come from being an employee. Well, how many times am I going to tell you, no, my job, your mentality? Because someday when I'm 60, it was 65, 75, so when I'm 120 years old, then I'll be able to get Social Security. With that mentality, you're not going to go anywhere and you'll never have anything, absolutely nothing. And kicking the ass is what you'll have. That you will have. Now, if with a different mentality you would have said since years ago, forcefully, because no one would employ you just like that. No, I'm going to start to do something. Those are the ones that have the companies. Those are the ones that have anything. And amongst themselves, they help themselves. Because another would come and says, I'm going to teach you how to do it. You have to make money. They're not going to employ us. And that was the secret of dominating the world. But not working for anyone. But rather to work for themselves. When you least expect it, everyone works for you. Just like that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Continue being an employee. You won't have money. Just continue. Continue in that. What can I teach you? I've taught you the history of the world of theirs, which was a blessing to be kicked out. Times, what was the phrase? Hard times make strong men. Strong men make easy times. Easy times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. That's the way it is. Exactly. So then, how did the strong men were formed? During hard times. But of course, absolutely. Here you've got to work for yourself. If every one of you were self-employed, your earnings would be multiplied. Very well. I just gave you the secret, which I had already told it to you 1,000 times over, but it's the secret of the Jewish people. Very well. So then it says, and the other one has yet come, and when he cometh, it is necessary that he last but a brief time. 1917, 2 years after Ellen G. White had died. The Ottoman Empire were defeated in a battle which is called the Battle of Jerusalem during the First World War. And the British Empire, British Army takes control. What happened there? What happened is something very clear. The First World War was designed, it was made to take out the whole entire zone of Israel from the Ottoman Empire. Then the war against Germany and all that, that's all fill-in, just a distraction, an absolute distraction. The reason for which there was, and it was written, a world war was written, number one, it is to ascend and to prepare the territory of the seventh head. The First World War was absolutely necessary that the seventh king to ascend. That's what it was. That's what it was for. And the Second World War was written already in the Book of Life, designed and prepared that the eighth king would ascend. Never again forget about what I'm teaching you. First World War was not that Germany... No, nothing. First World War was to do away with the kingdom of the sixth kingdom, the sixth head, and for the seventh one to go up, that would last but a brief time. So then, a second World War was made, precisely with the people that were in the eye of the beholder, because that people had to be reborn. They had to be reborn. So then the Second World War was so that the eighth head, which is one of the seven, could ascend. It's as simple as that. That is the story. I summed up the story of the world in those world wars. That's it. The rest are just collateral damage. Collateral damage. So then, precisely, the Declaration of Balfour had been issued. A general, of course, that was Jewish, English, Ekhad, who actually, Palestine should be given. It should be taken out from the dirty hands of the wild asses of the Ottoman Empire. It had to be rescued from that. Give or take, that's what it should have been. The Battle of Jerusalem goes from November 7th up until December 30th. In other words, it lasted a little bit over 1 month. November 17th to December 30th of the year 1917. You know how it turned out, actually. There was not so many battles. Muslims didn't fight. Precisely the British, in the year 1917, for the first time, the armies had planes. Just as when the wild asses would see something up in heaven, they were completely astonished. Do I have a dog here? We have coyotes. Some come and listen. Some coyotes or wolves, swine, they pass across. Oh, he escaped. Okay. He ran out. Okay, so then, the Arabs, the Muslims, were people that are very precarious. They'd never seen planes. And when they saw planes fly above them, those planes, the historical ones of the First World War, they were surprised so much that they thought that it was a sign from Allah. This is history. To top it off, the MacArthur general said, these guys are such idiots that I think I'm going to go in without even firing one shot. And he conquered Jerusalem without even firing once, because it was written in the prophecy. It was written. The guy made planes fly over, and they would drop some flyers that were printed in Arab. When they would fall, it would say, I can't remember the message, but I think it said, Allah says that you should leave from this accursed place. And they all left, or most of them. They thought that it was a sign from Allah. They thought that it was a divine sign, and that Allah, through some silver angels with motor that had noise, gave them the news. This is history. When MacArthur goes into Jerusalem, not one whole soul shot was produced, because there was no one there, and everyone there would welcome them. And thus is how England, Great Britain, the country of the Great Brit Milah, in other words, of the circumcision, that country takes possession and is the seventh head. The kingdom of the seventh head of the desert ends. They leave, escaping, fleeing from the demons, because Allah had warned them to leave that place. And the seventh head enters. The seventh kingdom, yes, England, is as the name of one of the kings. So then, what do we have? We have Israel, number 1. Babylon, number 2. The Medes and the Persians, number 3. Greece, number 4. Rome, number 5. 5 are fallen. One is the Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish Ottoman Empire, the Muslims, the wild asses, number 6. In order to take these down is a world war created, and the 11th of December of the year 1917, General Edmund Allenby enters into Jerusalem. I said MacArthur? No. Edmund is his name, Allenby. It enters into Jerusalem without firing a single shot and takes possession of Jerusalem. And precisely, the prophecy says that he must last but a brief time. They took it over. They dominated. They started an ethnic cleansing there. But what took place? What happened? They had to leave it in a brief time, and that brief time was fulfilled to the letter. To be able to achieve for the 8th head to go up, which actually is one of the 7, because there's not 8, in order for the original owner of the earth to come, when all the whole world would see and would astonish. They said that the original owners, Israel, came back to the promised land. Of course, all those expressions are of those who are not protagonists. That's why it says God gave them back the land. They are right. Blessed be Israel. That is how we know what role they play in the book of life. The book of life. Exactly 30 years with that brief time lasts. In the kingdom of all the rest of the kingdoms doesn't last anything. 30 years is the smallest one. Nothing. 30 years. Dominated. 30 years. And after 30 years, he would leave the kingdom, serve for the 8th, and the 8th resurges from the abyss. He resurges from the grave. I mean, it's so marvelous. Let's go to 11. Okay, let's read the last one. The last one I read. The last one that I read. Where was I? Number 10. Where did I leave? 10, 10, 10, 10. 9 and 10, it says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, upon which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 of them are fallen, and one is. That's why it's a desert, the wild asses. And the other, Great Britain or England, the United Kingdom, the other one has not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue but a short space. That short space are 30 exact years. In history, you didn't know that? Well, until you see it in history. It was all fulfilled at a level that's, millimetrical. How could we lose our faith or have any doubts of what comes now? If every one of the heads, which are 7, have been fulfilled exactly, it was taken by David. David reigned. He lost it to Babylon. He lost it to Medes and the Persians. They lost it to Greece, lost it to Rome. That whole information is there. Yes, it's acceptable. There's no problem with that. Then the Muslims came, completely accepted their land. Up until today, they're fighting. The Palestine, they say it's theirs. And of all the rest of the peoples, in the year 1917, it's taken over a kingdom which is called England, which is a part of Jerusalem. It's in the name of Yerushalayim. You have England in Jerusalem. Yerushalayim, England. So you understand. In England. From England. The land of the angels, England, Southern. Why does our faith doubt of what will happen next? If we know what happened before, what comes now is inevitable. It is immovable. It is written, since it was written that it was going to be founded by David, and Israel would reign, since it was written that Nebuchadnezzar, under the reign of Babylon, would take it over, since it was written that Babylon would lose it by the Medes and the Persians, since it was written that a government from Greece would come, would take over that whole area, since it was written that Rome would come and would take over the whole area, since it was written that the wild asses would come and they would pasture during that time for many hundreds of years, as it was written that they were going to lose it in a surprisingly way, and since that the seventh kingdom would last 30 years, the mandate of England upon Israel, the land of Palestine, would last but 30 years. Why do we still doubt and we say, is it going to be fulfilled? Might it be that we have 20 more years ahead of us? Do we still have 30 more years ahead of us? Maybe we'll die of old age. Why are we so hard-headed? I'm asking myself, why are we so hard-headed when we see that it's 7 kings and that there is a repetition of one of them, and that the 7 kings had already passed and they all fell because they all fell? The 7th one is England. England has fallen. In the year 1948, she left her mandate. England did. Left it. Fell. Jerusalem from there no longer exists. How many kings passed? 7 have passed. But does the prophecy say the beast that was and is not is also the 8th? Again reigns, repeats its kingdom again. Who is it? The original owner, the real owner, that is, of the earth. He repeats. The beast that was and is not, no longer exists, is also the 8th. It says, but do not be confused. Is among the 7s not a new one. It's not a lamb, a new Messiah. No. It is one that has already reigned before. It is from among the 7, and I'll leave him for the man that hath wisdom, to know who he is from the 7. Again, Nebuchadnezzar reigns. Babylon? No, of course not. Again reigns Greece? No. Rome again? No. Is it the United Kingdom? No. The Arabs? Never again. Even if they were to try. Just a little handful. All the Arabs got together in the 6-day war to try to take down the 8th head, and it was ash. Their work was, but it could not have been worse. It's incredible. It seemed that they were going to crush them, but what happened? They ended up being crushed. Their tanks, it all was destroyed. Why? Because you cannot fight against the 8th. The 8th has to live. It has all taken place in history. We still doubt how much longer is the 8th going to last. It is defined. It is defined how long the 8th will last. It is written. It's all written. And the end comes very soon. And I'll leave you here because I liked it. I'll continue with this next Shabbat. It is all written, and the end is inevitable. We shall take over exactly where we left next Shabbat. Without any further ado, let us seek our Elohim. Beloved Yahweh, we give you thanks because you have given us the book of Revelation concealed But it is written for a group of people, for the Lamb, for the new and only Messiah that humanity will have, which is written. And all the keys concerning the times, the ages, the dominions, you have given unto us. We give you thanks because we know that we are in the last instances of the eighth, and the eighth is heading quickly, most hurriedly into perdition, the abyss from whence it came, but it won't come back up this time, and that the Lamb is the one that will triumph because he is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and all those that are with him are those that are called, chosen, and faithful. We give you thanks because we understand it. We ask you that you give us that spirit of faith, of patience, of complete certainty of what we're living in, that every day that we live, we can see that the days of the eighth king are counted, and few are left, that we may feel it in our skin, in our blood, in our being. All this I thank you in your precious name, Yahweh Sabaoth, the only Elohim that exists, the only one that has a bride, which is his beloved, which is his Lamb, which is his Messiah. Hallelujah. Semper Fi. Let the laurels be eternal that we knew how to achieve. Crowned with glory, let us live. An enormous applause for the Lamb. Blessed be the Lamb, the Messiah. Hallelujah to every one of you. If the Lord allows it, we shall meet again next Shabbat. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable.